just want to talk to you about the mk3 locator, ferret locator, the mk1. Did a video a while ago on ferret equipment I use, and I got a lot of questions about what the receivers are, which one to use, which one I prefer. So I sort of sat down, did a list of all the pros and cons I can think of between the two. Now, this is the old mk1 ferret finder. These have been around for about 35 years. I remember buying one of these when I was 14, 42 now, there's at least 28 years, and they've been at shops a while then, and to be honest, at the time, even now, can't really fault them, but because they're 30 odd years old, that's the mk1 collar. These are no longer available to buy brand new. You can get guys that make these collars, you can buy them on eBay, but the boxes, unless you can find someone that repairs them, which there is a couple of guys out there that do, calibrate them, basically that's it. There is quite a few out there and they do work, but the mk3 is the one that's readily available now. A lot of people don't like them, a lot of people swear by them, people swear by them ones, and won't use these ones. I used to use them, and then a couple of years ago I got fed up of sending them off to be repaired, calibrated, any other the stickers coming off the wheels, and basically just things going wrong with them. So I basically said enough was enough. I had 3 of these boxes. This actually used to belong to me. I had 3 of them, sold them, about 8 collars, sold all the lot, went out, bought 2 of these, plus a lot of collars. I think I had 5 or 6 collars. Now, one of the differences is with the mk3, you can search up to 16 feet away. There's an actual switch to locate and search on the side. These only go to 8 foot unless you have the 15-foot version and the 15-foot collar, which they're even rarer than the 8 foots. 8 foots you can still get, but 15 feet and the cap's a lot harder to find, more expensive as well. As for these, a few of the things that I've noticed, I've been using this for 2 years now, and they're just as accurate, if not more accurate. But these are waterproof, collars are waterproof, you can switch the collars on and off, which on the mk1s, on the 8-foot collars, all you can do is undo the cap so that it's not on. And even when I own these, I found that when you finish with them, if you don't undo that slightly, these get stuck, and I actually broke the collar itself on one of mine trying to get this undone so I could change the batteries in it. Broke that receiver part, it's then no good, went in the bin, waste of a collar. Another thing you can't do on these, which this one looks like it could do with doing, is when the collars actually start to deteriorate, which this one is starting to do, you can't just swap this leather bit. You need to send this away to a guy that will do it, and then melt this plastic part here, cut it open, put a new leather collar, new leather strap in, and remelt it down so your collar's like new. But again, you've got to send it away to get it done, get it sent back, pay for it. I think the collars, I think I got one done, I think it cost me about £7, which isn't a lot, but it's still a hassle to get it done. Whereas with the mk3s, I'm using Velcro collars at the moment. If you want to swap them, you just thread it through it. One new collar, all you need to do is buy the collar, get your receiver, just replace it. So that's one benefit. Another thing I've noticed as well, with these both take the same battery, it's a 9-volt battery. Now to change the battery in the mk3, it's literally that, that's your battery. It's a brand new battery in there. that's your battery changed. And the Mark 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws undone, and the battery sits roughly here inside, and it's very tight to get the battery in and clipped on to the two battery terminals, and you can quite easily break the battery terminal off, which again, the box is then broke, send it away to get it repaired, another cost, which can get done, but again it's hassle. A couple of the other things that I've noticed, I find it's easy to pinpoint with these, to be honest. These you can pinpoint, but it uses lights and a noise, and I just think that this is much more simpler. You just turn it on, and then until you, I'll show you later, but until you lose the noise, you then sort of know exactly where you are, altering the depth and how deep it is. Whereas this, the noise for the pinpoint, it gets high pitched, so you've got to be sort of knowing what you're doing with them to a certain extent. But once you get the hang of them, they're much better than them. The collars you can turn on and off, which you can't do with them, as sort of mentioned earlier. When you buy a collar, you'll get a little magnet to switch them on and off with, which I don't have with me. I do have some, but there's also the arrow on the bottom of the receiver, and all you do, I don't know if you can see that, there's two arrows with a dot on the actual collar, and all you do, switch the collar, switch the receiver on, let's turn that collar off, and all you do is rub it over and it switches it on. Same again, switch it off. That's simple as that. So it's easier when you're in the field if you're using more than one. You can have your collars turned on, off, whichever ferrets you're using. Also at the end of the day, switch your collar off, you know it's off, you don't need to worry about the batteries going flat. If you don't undo these caps, the batteries will go flat, or they're left inside there. I got into the habit when I was using these of just undoing them slightly so they're off, which that one now is. But I have to take it all the way off just so it's loose. What else? Find Mark 1 is not as annoying as these. A lot of people don't like these Mark 3s because they say the noise that they make is annoying, the lights flashing and the noise as well. That just beeps, so you sort of know when you're finding, what your depth you're at. Mention that these are waterproof. You can switch the collars on and off. You can search up to 16 feet with these. Also, another thing with these is interference. You'll be working on a hedgerow under power lines, a barbed wire fence, in a hedge, your mobile phone, any electrical sort of device or ones that can pick up static affects these while you're using them, and it alters the noise that it makes. It's a really weird crackling noise, and it's very hard to distinguish the noise that the collars, it's picking up the collar, or whether it's just the noise from the interference. These don't interfere with anything, or nothing interferes with these, sorry. So there can be a lot more better that way when you're working in hedgerows and on the power lines. Also, if you have a problem with the collars or the box, whether it's not working right or it breaks or it needs calibrating, you get support from Devon, so who make them. You can send them away, they'll repair it, send it back to you at a cost, or calibrate it. The collars break, there's not a lot they can do with the collars because they're a sealed unit, because again they're waterproof, all you can do is change the batteries. If it breaks and they can't fix it, what they will do is give you 50% discount on a new collar, which doesn't sound a lot when it's the £90 to buy, but I would rather buy a brand new collar for £45 than have a collar that doesn't work, because it's no good to you. So you might as well buy a new one at 45 quid, then go out and buy another one at 90. So that's quite good that way. They do calibrate these. If you message them, customer support, tell them what's wrong, send it off to them, they'll calibrate it, send it back to you. got notes. These are also a lot more modern, like I say, these are about 30, 35 years old. So what I'm going to do is sort of do a quick demo on how to use them. These are pretty simple and straightforward. So what I'll do is I'll set it up, I'm going to do it on this table just to sort of show you how to pinpoint. Okay, so what I've done is on this table there's a hole in the middle where normally an umbrella would go. You can see the collar there on the floor. I measured that, that is just over 2 foot. So from the top of this table down to that collar is just over 2 foot tall. So what I'm going to do is, you can see the collar there on the floor, is I'm going to switch the bleeper on. So we'll start off until it picks it up, which is now. So at the moment that's reading at about 8 foot. So what you would do is you would scan your area where you're looking for your ferret, and then eventually you would start to pick up the collar where your ferret is, and you can go right over as far as you want until you lose it. So the way I used to use it was I used to turn it down until it stops bleeping, because if you think the collar's just transmitting a signal everywhere, the receiver picks it up and you have it set at 8 foot. Now what you need to do is pinpoint exactly to where the collar is going down. So even though it's picking it up here at 8 foot, it's not 8 foot straight down below me. It could be 7 foot across and a foot down, it could be 6 foot across, 2 foot down, and then any sort of combination in between. So what I always used to do, what you need to do is you pick the collar up, you're sort of searching around all over the floor, wherever it might be, and then eventually you'll start to pick it up. So then once you do pick it up, you need to turn it down until it stops, and then find the noise again. So there, we picked it up again. So, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you'll only pick it up in one place at a certain depth. See, now we're down to about 3 foot. So now you can see that only picks it up when we are actually above the collar. So that's saying 2 foot, it's probably nearer 2.5 foot. But when you look at the collar's there on the floor. It's the right way up, it needs to be that way up. So if that's round the ferret's neck, you need it like it is now. So if you imagine you've got that on your ferret, plus the depth of the tunnel that in the actual rabbit warren might be another 6 inch. So if that's reading there at 2 foot, when it's actually probably about 2.5 foot, you will break through that rabbit's warren tunnel at 2 foot, and then you'll find your ferret there with rabbit or whatever it has. Now the same again with the mk3. Just turn that collar off. So switch this one on. So again, that's the collar. You can see it's through the hole there. So with this one, we'll start with the search mode. So that's on, not picking it up, so we'll put the search mode on. So straight away it's picking it up. So as we move closer, you can see the lights going down and the high pitched noise is getting more high pitched. So we're still in search mode, so even though we're above it, it's not 6 foot away. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16. It's not 6 feet away. So now we need to switch side of the locator to locate. So now we're on to the bottom numbers, yeah? And as you can see, that is currently at 5 foot. So as we go down, move around, hear the high pitched noise is getting quieter. So if we move it bang above the collar, go down, see it's getting more and more high pitched. Now that's actually flashing on 3 foot. It's actually about 2 1/4 maybe. But if I went down a little bit more, it'd probably click to the 2 foot mark. Whereas there isn't between 2 and 3, so at the most it's going to be 3 foot. The least it's going to be possibly 2 foot. But that is bang on. If you were to move it there, you listen to the noise. It gets more high pitched when you're above it. So there it's saying 4 foot. But the noise is what is the pinpointer. And once you get used to that high pitched noise, you should be bang on every time. If you were to dig, even though it's saying 3 foot there, 3 foot there, 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 and there, and there, you dig in any of them other areas, you'll probably miss that tunnel where that collar is. And that is how you pinpoint one of these. And now it's not much different to the Mark 1s, where you're turning the depth down and refinding the noise. You've just got to get used to that beeping noise, that high pitched wailing, and I think that is one of the off-putting things of these. If Devon had done the same with these as they have with the old Mark 1, where you adjust the depth rather than this noise and lights, I think these would sell a lot more, and a lot more people would be happier using them. Like I say, you've just got to get used to using them. The problem is that they are quite expensive. To buy one of these with a collar, so you get Mark 3 collar with a leather strap, not a Velcro strap, and one of these brand new are £189, cheapest I found them online, which I think is on eBay. You can buy a box with 2 collars, which is £275. Collar alone are £90. Like I say, if you do have one and it stops working, Deben will replace it with a brand new one for 50% off, so you get a brand new one for £45, which again seems a bit wrong because you're having to pay, but at least it's only half price rather than having to pay for the full one, because there's not a lot they can do with them being sealed. Now, if anybody's thinking of starting ferreting, catching rabbits with ferrets, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to buy any equipment, is to save up and buy one of these. Don't worry about the mk1s, the old grey knocker boxes as they call them. I wouldn't buy one. If I was starting now, I would buy them. This is the technology that's in the shops that you can buy from Deben. You can buy them anywhere. You're supported from Deben, and you'll get used to using one of these. You won't have a problem. You start with one of them, I can guarantee you'll have problems somewhere down the line, and then you'll have to either buy one of these or pay a fortune to get another one of these, or another one of these repaired. And anybody that is using them and wants to swap over onto one of these, if you just give them a chance, get used to using it and the noises that it makes, and to be honest, you'll wonder what all the fuss was about with them. Hope that video helped. Just like to give a quick shout out to Luke for lending me his box, his mk1 box. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and you can also follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Rural Pest Control. The links are on the home page on YouTube, and I'll also put links in the comments on the video. Thanks for watching.